It is day one on the Moray Coast Trail, and these are the three windmills that power the Findhorn Eco Village that I just spent the last 6 days visiting and participating in a very amazing retreat at the village. The village is about 300 or 400 people, and they've got another couple hundred that live in the towns just right close by. And I would just tell you, if you're interested in finding peace and finding yourself, it's an amazing thing to check out, findhorn.org. But anyhow, these are the windmills they've had out there for a little over 20 years, I think, and they power what I understand to be most of the electrical needs of the entire community. So now I'll turn this way. There's one of the trail markers for the Coast Trail, a little Moray Coast Trail label. And I'll continue on the path here. I'm just leaving. I actually walked from the Eco Village down to the town of Findhorn itself, and then kind of back toward the Eco Village. This is like the backyard of the Eco Village that meets up with the beach area. So I've already walked about maybe 2 miles. I could have just left the Eco Village and walked straight out here about a quarter mile, but I wanted to get the full experience of leaving from the town of Findhorn. So I went ahead and did it. So anyhow, I think the trail is gonna turn left up here and take me out to the coastline. So I should have probably maybe 4.5 miles of coastline view before I get to my next town, which is Burghead. And I don't really know what's in Burghead, but if they've got a nice pub or some sort of stop, then I'll stop and grab something to drink and maybe continue on for a few more miles today. I'm not really aiming for any kind of crazy daily mileage on this trip. I have taken a week off since the West Highland Way, and so my legs are going to take a day or two to reacclimate to the pack weight. But I'm only carrying about a day and a half of food, so it's not terribly heavy at this time anyway. And the weather's beautiful. It's probably 68 and windy, a little bit overcast, and so just a really nice day to start a hike. So here we go. Roughly 46 miles, I think. Moray Coast Trail. This is one of many boulder lines, and you see some of the cubicle fork cutouts. These were placed on this shoreline. So there's a Air Force base or Army base right up beyond this fence, and actually part of the Findhorn Eco Village used to be Army base as well, back in the post-World War II time frame. And so these stones in the place where they are actually date to like the 1940s time frame. This was where defenses for the UK were placed to keep the enemy Navy and amphibious vehicles from landing on the coast here. And I guess as a sort of marker to the history, they've left them in place. Really fascinating to see. What an incredible piece of history here. All right, so in this section, we're about 3 miles into the Moray Trail, and we're just entering or passing the Ministry of Defense property line. You can see the fence all along the edge here. And then we skirt, looks like they've got a forest maybe for training, or I don't know. They've got some equipment out there, but we're going to skirt along the outside of the forest and right along the cliff line. So I'm kind of walking a path through the forest. But you can actually see the town of Burghead way off in the distance, still about 4 miles away. But right at the tip of that piece of land, and there's some buildings out there. That's where I'm aiming. So a couple hours from now I should be over there enjoying a nice beer by the seaside if my day goes well. The trees are kind of nice because they block the wind a little bit. It's not too terribly strong today, but after walking exposed for an hour or more, it kind of gets a little bit annoying, so it's nice to have a break there. And you can see how the cliff just kind of drops off right there. It's only about maybe 30 feet down to the rocks down there, but you certainly wouldn't want to fall off the cliff. So I'll stay a couple meters back and just be safe walking through the woods. The sound of the waves in the distance, beautiful. I don't really hear any seabirds today, but maybe because it's so windy. You can see a few flying off in the distance. This is a trail that I'm not going to see many people on, because this is not nearly as popular as the West Highland Way, for example. And I don't know that many people really know about this trail, so hopefully word gets out, because even though I've just begun, it's already beautiful. Very well maintained too. It's pretty, the signage is good so far. I'm just using All Trails as my map. There was no map on Far Out, which is the app that I've been using for the previous 2 trails I've hiked, but they don't have this one on there yet. So I just pulled up the All Trails map, and it seems to be pretty accurate. I've had to use it a couple times to figure out early turns as I was leaving the town of Findhorn and getting onto the trail, but nothing too big. I could have figured it out, I think, anyway. And so, yeah, the trail seems to be pretty wide open, pretty well maintained, and my feet are thankful because it's going to be 45 miles of mostly flat terrain. So I'll definitely enjoy that. Yeah, in this section I kind of feel like I'm back on the West Highland Way. I'm in deep, dense forest with no coastal view. It's pretty flat. This is obviously a planned or cultivated forest, but it's cool. It's beautiful. Very green, moss on the ground. A lot of hills back through here. A few down trees, but for the most part, it's very clean and very well maintained back here. Beautiful. I think we'll only stay on this for a little over a mile or so, but it's interesting to already get some varied terrain. If I was looking for a campsite, this would be a great spot, but it's still very early in the day, so maybe I'll get some woodland areas later on in the evening too. Really cool view as we enter the town of Birkhead. I just came out of the forest and it's starting to sprinkle just a little bit, but the weather says it's only going to rain for like an hour or so, so I'm going to go into town and see if I can find a pub or something to grab dinner and a drink and let the rain pass by, and then I'll continue on trying to make some more, maybe 2 or 3 more miles, because the sun won't set until like 10 or so this evening, so still got plenty of time to walk. Oh, it's not the most picturesque sight in all of Scotland, but it is interesting that there's a big giant factory that's got an interesting scent to it. It might be like a seafood processing plant or something here, right along the pathway. So I just came from downtown Birkhead. I met a man named Bob, elder gentleman, and his nice little dog Lucky. I always forget to get pictures of people like that, but super nice gentleman. Told me he was originally from England, and he was telling me about all the beaches around this area. So that's always nice to meet local people who are friendly and want to educate you about the place they live. So I'll walk on up the coast there, sprinkling, but not too bad, and the sprinkles coming down on my back and not my face, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I've got my hood on. And so there's 2 towns coming up, one in about a mile, another one in a little over 2 miles. I have no idea about the availability of pubs and hotels and all that kind of stuff. If I can find a sheltered spot, I'd definitely like to camp tonight, because hotels around this area are just crazy expensive. And I haven't camped in a week, and I'm just kind of looking forward to setting up camp and sleeping in the tent. So, but I'm hopeful I find something that's sheltered. I was in the forest like a mile and a half ago. If I'd have been really thinking and looking at the weather report, maybe I would have camped there, but that would have only put me at about 6 miles total today. And I'm trying to do this whole thing in 5 days, so that would have made some long hikes in the next couple of days probably. So anyhow, it'll all work out. I'll find something and just continue to enjoy these beautiful views along the coast. I'm about 8 miles into the hike on the Moray Coast Trail now, and starting to see some of the impressive stone formations along the beach line. That's really cool. Looks like that one's separated from the, either separated or the section in between it like collapsed at some point. I think some people come off the trail and go climb all over those, but it's raining and slick. And so a rock climber was out here climbing inside some of the stone formations and introduced me to some of the caves back here. So this is pretty spectacular, but he did warn me. He said, don't go in here as the tide's coming up because you can get stuck inside the cave for many hours. So I'm gonna just hang out here and enjoy. It looks like the water is coming up, but it's got a while before it gets up to this level. And that particular cave doesn't look like it goes very far back, but he said there's one that's like the size of a tennis court, so maybe I can find that one too. So this is a cool cave. I'm hoping no one of those, looks like a start of a bird nest. I'm hoping no pigeons come flying out of here and scare the shit out of me. That one goes pretty far back. There they go. Exactly as I called it. Woo, that was scary. You come out of the cave, and that's the other cave I was just in. And you see the North Sea. So cool, so beautiful here. I'm about a little over a mile from Hopeman. The climber that I ran into said there's a really good fish and chip shop there, so I am gonna stop and get myself some fish for dinner. I cannot wait. I haven't had meat in 5 days. So yeah, that sounds pretty incredible. Here's the beautiful bridge. I guess that's like a walking path maybe over the dunes here, and off in the distance, probably too hard to see on the camera, you can see the cathedral there in Hopeman. So getting close. Here we have sunrise in a little while on day 2 of my hike on Moray Coast. I kind of slept out on a cliff next to the water. It was a little windy when I went to bed, but storms were rolling in this morning. Got a pretty good rain, and the wind was pushing down the front edge of my tent pretty good. So I went ahead and packed up at 6 a.m. and started walking. And then I found this area here. You can tell the wind is going left to right with the waves there. And I probably could have camped in this little cove here and stayed mostly out of the wind, but anyway, it's all right. Lesson learned. I didn't break my tent or anything. Had a good night's sleep. I slept for probably 7 hours-ish, and I'm feeling very rested. I'm walking along this trail. There's a golf course right here next to it, so that's a kind of a humorous mark of civilization out in the wild here. And then I'll walk along that entire cliff's edge out to Lossiemouth, which is about 6 miles away. So I'm gonna take my time. Probably take about three or so hours to get there, and maybe get a nice Scottish breakfast when I arrive. So this is Classac Cave right there, and you can see a few tents. People have camped in that site overnight. So yeah, I guess it pays to do your research a little bit, but What an image we get there. Following along a little bullfrog. He doesn't seem to be in any hurry. This is the cliffs of Fulmar. It's where seabirds nest. Actually, you can see a few of them on the face of that cliff right over there. The little white dots. We're a good probably 150, maybe 200 feet up off the water up here, so been climbing for a little bit. Nothing too aggressive, but what a view. And then there's a big group of birds just chilling on the beach down there. Taking in voyage. The rock formations on this trail are amazing. That's probably 70 or 80 feet high, and it's freestanding, and you can see there's an arch at the bottom of it. Looks like you can just walk right through it. I'd love to get down there. I don't know if there's a clear path, and there's also a couple of caves off to the right there. It's just now starting to rain, so it would be an awesome place to go and just hang out and have some breakfast and some coffee and relax for a little while out of the rain. We'll see. I stopped at this little spot to hide from the rain for a little while. It is windy, but I'm up under a cliff overhang. Just some sandstone that has worn away, and it stopped raining, but I got real comfortable and put my rain gear on, and it's just a beautiful spot to sit and watch the waves roll in. I think I could stay here for a while. You can see the lighthouse in the distance. That's probably not quite to Lossiemouth, but it's on the way to the next town that I'm going to, about 2.5 miles away. This is one of the Scottish defensive forts on the north coast. You can tell people have been here in beer bottles and graffiti all over the place, unfortunately. But yeah, a pretty incredible historic location where the Scots were ready to defend their country against German attack if necessary. I don't know that there ever was any attack from this direction, but they were prepared. You gotta duck down and crawl through the door here. This is cool, walking along this beach with the sand blowing behind me. This would be miserable if I was going the other direction. I'd have the wind in my face and probably a face full of sand for this 7-mile stretch. But as it is, I have the wind in my back pushing me along. Not too crowded out here, just a few people walking their dogs. And these beautiful trails of sand that just blow past me and kind of remind me that nature is always in motion. Energy is always moving. And it just gives a very subtle, mystical effect on the whole beach today. A little bit of raindrops starting to fall now. Hopefully it doesn't pick up too much. I'm tired of putting on my rain gear and taking it back off again, but I'll do it if need be. It's rare that I complain about any section of a hike. Like, I try to find something positive about pretty much anywhere that I go. And this is cool. I mean, I just spent an hour and a half hanging out in a World War II era shoreline bunker, had some coffee and some lunch, and rested my feet, so that was pretty cool. And I'm walking along these stone anchors that were placed here to keep tanks from rolling ashore on the north side of Scotland during the war. So, I mean, for historic value, this is pretty awesome. I'm also like a stone's throw away from one of the Royal Air Force bases, and I've heard jets flying, but I haven't seen any overhead yet, maybe because it's cloudy. But as this trail goes, this is probably the least awesome portion of the trail so far. It's either like really sandy, and that's hard to walk in, especially with a heavy pack, or it's like really rocky. You can see this, like that's the trail for miles and miles. And so yeah, I don't know, it seems like they could do some clearing and some maintenance out here, but I've seen some other folks walking along this trail, presumably walking from one of the towns to the other, which they're 7 miles apart. That's a good day's walk. So I guess people do come out here and wander this trail, even though it's just kind of out there in the open. There's not a lot to see, because along the coastline, unless you cross over those rocks and walk on the really slick or really uneven rocks on the shoreline, which I did for a while, it was just too hard. It was a lot of work, and so I came up here where it's at least a little more flat and stable. But you can't see much. You can't see the water. You can hear the water because it's up over the berm. So you're just looking at these wartime concrete blocks for miles and miles and miles, and you can see the town, maybe Kingston, up in the distance, and turn around and see Lossiemouth behind me. I've been able to see it for the last probably 2.5 hours or so, and you can still see the town way back there. And I also found a nice little area to sit. It looks like a couple miles from town. Somebody built a kind of a little picnic area out of driftwood, and it looks like they have thrown some tents around some of the sticks out there from time to time to block the wind. Would have been a good campsite if I was ready to camp, but I'm going to continue on for a few more hours today. At least get to Kingston, or maybe just beyond. I think I'm at roughly the halfway point. I don't have the ability to track exact mileage on this one, but visually it looks like I'm about halfway through the 45-mile trail right now. And it's taken me a day and a half, so I may slow down a little bit tomorrow or start late. It's supposed to rain or some rain chance until like 4 or 5 p.m. tomorrow, all the way from the morning. So, but there were rain chances today too, and it's been actually pretty minimal. So it's a beautiful day right now. But no hurry. If I finish tomorrow, which I doubt, then I'll probably take a bus over to Aberdeen and hang out in Aberdeen and check it out for a few days. I've never been to Aberdeen before. And after that, I'm not really sure. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, and I'm in the mode of like just letting things flow and letting myself kind of drift toward whatever feels right. I'm feeling possibly going back to Inverness and doing the Great Glen Way, which goes back down to Fort William and meets up with the termination point of the West Highland Way, and goes along Loch Ness as well for a good portion of that hike. So that might be cool. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do some research and see what else is available out on like Isle of Skye or one of those more westerly locations. But for now, just kind of walking along the rocky trail. There's a forest right next to me. Kind of would be cool to go walk in the forest right now, but it's not to be. So maybe later. Somebody left a couple of Coronas in one of the old wartime shelters here, which you can see is also covered in graffiti. Looks like a spot where people come up and hang out quite a bit. So interesting. There's the view to the beach down there. I don't know if I feel like drinking a beer though. All right, it's late day on day 2. I've probably gone, I don't know, 10, 11 miles today. I'm still like maybe 3.5 or 4 miles from Kingston, and I'm not really like trying to get there because I don't think there's any restaurants or hotels or anything like that. And actually it's a really nice night, so I think I'm just gonna look for a good spot in the woods back here to set up camp. It's almost 5 o'clock. Dusk is not for another like at least 4 or 5 hours, maybe more. But I could take my time setting up camp, relax. If I could find a water source, that would be amazing. But I don't know if I'm gonna get that lucky. I have enough water for making dinner and probably for making oatmeal for breakfast. And I could get to Kingston in an hour and a half from where I'm at, so I should be okay. Hopefully they'll have at least somewhere to fill up water or purchase a bottle of water in the morning. Yeah, my main goal is just like staying out of the wind and the rain, because it is supposed to start raining at like midnight and go at least 30-40% chance through most of the day tomorrow. So I'm just looking for a spot that's got some windbreak to it. And yeah, that should be enough for tonight. Just find a good spot to bed down, and then I'll press on tomorrow, making good time for a 4-day completion rate. I don't really know the path to this alternate woods route, but I'm just trying to, oh yeah, there's a sign up ahead. Interesting. Right as I'm speculating about my direction, I see a sign, so I'm just gonna keep going this way. Kinda cool. It is the morning of day 3 on the Moray Coast Trail. I crawled in my tent at about 7:30 last night, fell asleep maybe around 8, and it's like 10:30 the next morning. I worried that going to sleep so early was gonna have me waking up, because the sun rises early here too, like, I don't know, 5:30 a.m. And I thought I was gonna wake up early and have nothing to do and just go out and walk. But my body was tired, man. So I'm in the tent, we're getting a little bit of rain. It's off and on this morning, so it's nothing too heavy. I'm cooking some oatmeal in my vestibule, and just taking it easy today. I think if I get even 8 to 10 miles in today, I'll be happy. There's a town about 2 miles from here, Kingston. I don't know if they have anything, coffee or even a small restaurant or anything, but I'll have a coffee or something if I stop there. And other than that, I'm just going to eat my breakfast and slowly pack up and work my way down the hill. I slept on Ben Hill, B-I-N-N, last night. I'll throw in some pictures. It's got some pretty great views of the coastline. You can see for many miles up here, and it's just a beautiful wooded area, nice and protected from the wind. And yeah, there's supposed to be an ancient Neolithic burial site somewhere up here, but it's grown over, covered up in ferns and trees and stuff. So I walked around all over the top of the hill, couldn't find anything. So yeah, it's cool just knowing that that's here. So good night of rest. I probably haven't slept 14 hours since I was sick, maybe a couple years ago. I don't even know, but I'm feeling good, ready to hike. All right, on this 3rd day of the Moray Coast Trail hike, I got out on trail at about 11:20 this morning after sleeping a very long night, very restful. It looks like I'll be following this forest road trail most of the way to Kingston. And there's some interesting structures coming up. This, I don't know what that is, just a stack of bricks here, and around this way, ooh, there's like an archway. Let's go over there and see what that is. Okay, this is interesting. And a metal box on the ground. The archway goes into just this shelter-looking structure. So, I don't know. Any ideas? I don't know what that might have been. Let me see if I can open the box here. Never open a box in the forest. Nothing in there. So, yeah, this is kind of just out in the middle of the forest. A brick structure. Sure it was used for something at some point. And up ahead, there is another brick structure. It's got curved metal roof on top of it. So we'll go up ahead and see what that's all about. Looks like it's got the Moray Coast Trail sign on it too, or next to it, which is pointing me, I'm going east right now. Looks like it's pointing to the south, but that's a different trail, so I'm just gonna stay on this one. Oh, that's the trail back up to the top of Ben Hill, where I camped last night, so I don't want to do that. I already did that. So this looks like some kind of military Quonset hut structure or something. I don't know. I'm still fairly close to the military bases out here, so maybe these structures were used for some kind of military training at some point. There you go. Looks like some leftover cans, the makings of a fire, so people have definitely stayed in here and camped before. Huh. Cool. Never know what you're going to find on a hike in the middle of the northern edge of Scotland. Definitely didn't expect that. All right, moving on. Another 1.5 miles or so to the town of Kingston, hoping for some coffee. This morning, all I had was oatmeal. Ooh, that's a wide open field. Stretches almost all the way to the, you can see the sea in the background in that little divot down there. You know, when I was hiking the Appalachian Trail a few months ago, there was a saying people would echo many times over that said the trail provides. You know, if you were low on food or water, or like just energetically you weren't feeling good that day, it seems like something would always happen to surprise you and show you like this universe is looking out for you. So I just had one of those trail provides moments, and I had to reflect on it a little bit. And yeah, I was coming out of the woods right before Kingston. And I guess I knew that the, look at this beautiful view here. The River Spey, which I'll be following for the next at least 3 or 4 miles. It's just so pretty. Anyhow, I was coming into Kingston out of the woods, and 2 different groups stopped me and told me that the bridge was out and that it was gonna take me a big detour. Well, the second wasn't a group, it was a young lady and her dogs. And she said, well, I'm going to a festival this afternoon, but I can take you to the other side of the river if you need. And not only that, she was like, I'll let you go ahead and walk up to the next town because it's a beautiful mile or so, and then I'll meet you at the coffee shop in town there. And she did, and so I was able to buy her a nice little sandwich to say thank you, and she took me over, and she had to pick up her mom and some supplies because they're going out to the music festival. So these total strangers on the North Shore of Scotland just like welcomed me into their vehicles and their house, and we hung out for a half hour or so just talking about life and everything, and it was just really special, really cool just to see the generosity of total strangers, but people who recognize like she had said, Eleanor said that she had hiked this trail before too, so she definitely understood the beauty and the mystique of this place. And I'm sure there's a, like anywhere, there's a sort of instant community when you run into other hikers. But still, that's a big risk to take, to allow a strange man to come into your vehicle in your house and sort of give this automatic trust. And it's beautiful to see people that are living in a way that doesn't put fear first, you know, it puts other people first. So thank you to Eleanor and Val for the time of your presence and the generosity that you showed today. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll pay it forward at some point. I'm just collecting some water from the River Spey, which is the river where the greatest concentration of Scottish whiskies, there's like 50 distilleries right here in this area, and this is the river that blesses those distilleries with its beautiful, fresh, pure water. So I'm gonna go filter this into my bottle, and this is what I'll be drinking the rest of the day. Probably doesn't have a whiskey taste to it, but that's all right. I'll find a pub this evening. So beautiful out here. Well, this is the location where the bridge is apparently closed. I took an alternate trail on the east side that kind of paralleled the river for the last several miles, and I figured I would come down here. It's only a quarter mile extra to come down here and check this out. It's interesting, like maybe there's damage as you get further up toward the bridge span section there, but right here it looks okay. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to check out some pictures online and see what's actually damaged, but I'll take the word for the folks that decided to close this off, and I'm very happy I found some nice people to take me around this span today. And got a few extra miles in, but it's okay. Sometimes we walk extra miles and enjoy a new experience. All right, I've reached the end of the River Spey. You can see off in the distance where the river meets with Spey Bay, and then it eventually pours into the North Sea. Just beyond that overlook. Yeah, it's been nice walking along the river today. Weather's been mostly sunny and pleasant, and it's nice having the sound of water and being able to collect a little fresh water from a world-renowned whiskey source. Just beautiful. All right, we're nearing the end of day 3. I'm walking along this trail that I've been on for maybe 7 miles since I was dropped off earlier in the day by the kind strangers who gave me a ride. Over there you can see the water, maybe, in the distance. And on this side is farmland. There's a farmhouse kind of off in the distance there, and looks like they're growing, at least right now, they're baling hay for horses and cows and all those good things. Yeah, today's tough. Like, even though I've probably only done about 9 miles total today, my body's beat. I slept like more than 13 hours last night, so it's not lack of sleep, and it's not particularly difficult terrain. So I don't know. I feel like I'm eating okay, getting plenty of rest. Maybe I need more water than I'm taking in, but I feel like I'm adequately hydrated, not thirsty. Sometimes the body just gets into this space where it needs extra rest and time off. So I'm gonna stop here in the next mile or so, find me a camp spot, hopefully somewhere between these next 2 towns, which are only like 2 miles apart. And yeah, I can actually see both towns right now. I'll put them on camera in a minute here. But yeah, I'm gonna camp and rest up and not be in any hurry to start out tomorrow. Tomorrow's possibly the last day. I think I've got maybe 12 or 13 miles left to Cullen. So I should be somewhere around 11 or 12 when I finish today. And that's manageable for a day, as long as I'm feeling good. And then I'm gonna probably get a hotel and stay at least one night. Cullen's supposed to be a kind of interesting town, so I might even do 2 nights there and just let my body fully rest and heal and have some good food, and then decide what I'm gonna do next. I've got a few ideas in mind, but yeah, we'll just have to play it by ear and see how the body's doing. And these are the towns of Port Gordon coming up in the next maybe quarter mile or so right there. And then if you go down the coast, you can see another 1.5 miles or so is the town of Bucky, which is a bigger town. They've got restaurants and hotels and all that. So I don't know, my legs are tired, but it would be nice to grab a meal somewhere if I can make it that far tonight. So I'm gonna try. Oh, good morning. I left the little town of Bucky after staying for 3 nights this morning. I hadn't planned on staying there the extra day, but I woke up yesterday and I was just deathly ill. I literally could not get out of bed all day, just complete exhaustion. And I think I might have been food poisoned actually the night before. I had some sushi and it tasted fine, but yeah, I did not want to stay down the next day, and my body was just wrecked all day yesterday. But after a day of sleep, I'm recovered and back on trail. I got about 4.5 miles actually left to get to Cullen, which is the official terminus of the Moray Coast Trail. One of the people I met along the trail told me that you can actually go another like 10 or 12 miles or so. Maybe further than that, I'll have to check the map, but all the way to Banff, and there's trail line all the way along the coast. So depending on how I feel later today, there's at least Fendladder Castle, which I want to go see just after Cullen. And so I'll walk out there and see how I'm feeling, and might just continue on down the coast. We shall see. This is a beautiful section of rocky coast that you get to walk along for the last several miles at least of this trail. I don't know if it's going to be like this all the way to the town of Cullen, but it's a pretty nice way to finish up 45 or so miles of hiking by doing some walking over slick rocks and trails between all of this beautiful scenery. I think I saw a cave up ahead too, so maybe I'll go in and explore that a little bit. But you can just see how, just the beauty. There's also a sailboat right between. See that? Oh man. Good day to be out in nature. Just gorgeous out here. Some spots it's hard to find the trail though. I'm gonna assume I'm supposed to go back up this way, but you see the coastline here. There's a cave off in the distance. This is not the easiest stuff to walk on with a heavy pack on your back either, but I'm trying to be careful. My balance is still a little off after being sick yesterday. So I'm just taking it easy. I also haven't eaten in about 36 hours, which is probably not great, but I'm gonna wait until I'm actually hungry and not force myself to consume any food. All right, looks like I found a path here. There we go. Oh, somebody's camped up here. Side of a fire by the big rock there. Another big rock. And I'll just be walking along the coastline here. Not too bad. So this is one of the coolest parts about this trail is you can walk out of this remote, rocky inlet with caves, outcroppings, and some somewhat treacherous climbing actually. And walk around a bend, and then you see a little seaside town. This, I believe, is Finlochty. Probably another small fishing village. Bigger, or not as big as Bucky, where I stayed last night. It's like mostly houses. But as I have often done, if I can find a coffee shop with a bacon roll, I will certainly stop in and get myself some food this morning. I'm still only like an hour and a half, 2 hours from Cullen. So I may stop there for a while and take it easy and kind of plan my next moves. But for right now, I'm just gonna enjoy the walk into this town. And I think there's maybe even one more town between here and Cullen. So the towns are much closer together on this end of the hike. I was walking along the beach down there for probably 3/4 of a mile, and I looked at my trail map and realized the actual trail was a few hundred yards to the east or the south. And so I decided, rather than walk back over the difficult slippery rocks that I had walked on the beach, I climbed up this crevice in the rocks. It's probably 300 feet up, through a bunch of prickly shrubs, the gorse as they call it. And I made it, but it definitely wore me out. So I've been sitting on this nice little bench here for about 10 minutes and overlooking the North Sea. Met a nice man named Leon and his dog, and we chatted for a while. So I'm glad actually that I got off the trail, because it was pretty neat down on the beach, but it's good to be back on flat ground instead of walking along slick rock and climbing over some craggy rock projections. The views along this last 2 miles of the Moray Coast Trail do not disappoint. This is the infamous Bowfiddle Rock, named because I guess it sort of resembles a violin bow. Just a beautiful structure out in the middle of the North Sea, and at high tide, it's completely an island. I guess you can get to it at low tide, but I wouldn't want to go out there. So I'll just keep walking the trail here and see if I can get a better view close up. Feels like I'm right at the cliff's edge, but I've got about 10 feet or so this way before I drop off the cliff, so I'm pretty safe. There's a good view. Quite a few tourists out here walking the trails. I'll take it right to the end of this path here. Should be able to get one of the best possible views all the way to the base of the rock. Oh, cool. There's a guy kayaking down there too. Helmet cam on. It's a good spot. Hard to believe I only have a couple miles left on this trail. I'll definitely miss it. This is called Preacher's Cave. It's about a mile before you get to the town of Cullen. So I don't know that the water ever gets up to this level anymore, but it must have at some point carved out the depths of this cave. So who knows why it's called Preacher's Cave. Maybe they used to hold some sort of services in here or something. Or maybe somebody escaped religious persecution back in the cave at some point. Who knows? But it sure is cool. Also, my internal clock is completely off after walking for several days and spending all day yesterday in bed at the hotel. It's like almost 2 o'clock and I just said good morning to a local couple. They were kind enough to remind me that I was still on US time, which is probably true, even after almost 3 weeks in the country. Come on, brain, catch up. So we'll come up over this little ridge, and I think that's the town of Cullen. Off in the distance, the finish line for the trail. Just 1 more mile. Woohoo! Last quarter mile or so of the hike. I stopped off at a little beach restaurant to get a coffee and a bacon roll. Man, I was hungry this morning. This is Cullen Bay. And up on the hill, you can see some houses, and I'm guessing I'm gonna have to climb that hill because the trail actually ends in the downtown area. So let's see what the little signs up here say. A lot of people hanging out at the sea today. I even saw a bunch of Americans that were here, I guess, playing golf and playing in the water while it's somewhat warm. 68 degrees, that's not warm enough for me. Well, it doesn't look like there's a official end marker to this trail, but on my map anyway, it shows like this is the location, the War Memorial in downtown Cullen. So I did it. Completed the Moray Coast Trail. Some people do it in 3 days. It took me 6 because I was sick for a day, and yeah, it was good. I'm glad to be done. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I'm looking at bus times and thinking about walking down the coast a little further to go check out a castle. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but I'm glad to be done. Feels good to be here. I took the advice of a local and now I find myself hiking what seemed like a short distance to Findlater Castle. But you can see I'm walking along cliff's edges. This is the path right there, and then it goes off into eventually down there where that standing stone cairn is. But between here and there, I've got quite a bit of work cut out for me. But again, the rock formations out here are just amazing. Oh, beautiful. Findlater Castle, built into the side of a cliff, where if you're not careful, you'll find yourself falling over the edge hundreds of yards. So you have to be very careful where you step out here. Wow. Somebody just came out here and decided, I'm gonna build a castle right on the cliff's face. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is like the craziest feat of engineering I've ever seen in my life. Look how beautiful this is. Oh my God. Who decided this was a good idea? Unbelievable. You definitely could not be attacked in a place like this. Well, I don't get this experience too often. I took a shortcut about a mile back. I've been walking through farmers' fields on this tractor trail. Hopefully coming up on an actual hiking trail pretty soon if my map is correct. I do see a building ahead of me, so I think I'm on track. But even if I don't, I'll walk back toward the water and get back on the trail that I took to the castle earlier. But I think it's gonna work out. I'm trying to get back to Cullen for dinner and to refill my water. And then I'll go find a campsite somewhere within a mile, one way or the other, of the town tonight. And after that, I think tomorrow I'm gonna get on a bus early in the morning and make my way about 3 hours west to Inverness. And yeah, I might go ahead and start the Great Glen Way hike. It's supposed to be 80 miles back down to Fort William. If I really take my time, take about a week and a half. I'm not going to be in any hurry, given that my feet have been giving me trouble. And I've got like 20 days left in country, so other than that, I don't really have any other plans. So, all right, let's see. I'm at a crossroads here. I'm gonna go toward the little building and hope this gets me to the path. There's the building I'm talking about down there. And it's overlooking the sea. So yeah, hopefully I find my way back to town pretty soon. Wish me luck.